Jimmy High Roller has uploaded a video asking over 100 current NBA players who the real GOAT is. Jimmy High Roller is a GOAT. We have to react to this. So let's see how today's era of NBA players judges the GOAT, I guess, on their scale.
In life, very few things are guaranteed. Death, taxes, and the NBA GOAT debate.
This will never end, bro.
You can hide, but eventually, it'll always find its way back into your life. And as much as we think we know about the game, us mere mortal hoop fans have never seen greatness up close and personal like actual NBA players have. So who better to ask about this age-old debate than the players themselves? From all-time greats to Hall of Famers to role players. If we ask the players themselves who they think the greatest player of all time is, who would they choose? Well, we have the answer, and it may not be what you expect.
Shout out
Today's
Jimmy High
video
Roller.
is brought to you by DraftKings.
Get your bag, my boy. But we about to skip past this. DraftKings, come sponsor Femi 2 Drippy. He has 1,000 subscribers now.
Back in 2019, The Athletic conducted an anonymous poll involving 127 active NBA players. Sam Amick wrote an excellent piece on this poll. I highly recommend checking it out. And throughout this poll, these NBA players were asked to give their opinions on an array of topics, like who's the toughest player in the NBA, who talks the most trash, who's the best defensive player. For example, one of the questions in the poll was, who's the MVP? James Harden received the most votes from the players, but Giannis ended up taking home the award. Another question these players were asked was, what do you see as the biggest issue facing the league? 30% of players said officiating. But of the 16 questions that were asked in this poll, the question that had the largest discrepancy in votes was, who's the best player of all time? Now, the best thing about anonymous polls is that players can be as open and as honest as they want to without worrying about being criticized for their answers later down the road. And, well, the players were brutally honest. In fifth place was a tie between Magic Johnson, Allen Iverson, and Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant? People think Kevin Durant is the greatest basketball player of all time. I don't care if it's 1%. Somebody thinks Kevin Durant is the greatest. If y'all don't know me and this is your first time watching me, I am a LeBron GOAT, stan, supporter, whatever you want to call it. Kevin Durant, on no scale, is the greatest basketball player of all time. Whoever put that there needs to get checked.
All receiving 1% of the votes. In fourth was Kareem, in third was Kobe, in second was LeBron with 11.9% of all votes, and in first with a resounding 73% of the votes was Michael Jordan.
Surprisingly, there's no Larry Bird. I'm being funny. Yeah, Larry Bird isn't on this list.
Granted, this poll was 3 seasons ago before LeBron won his 4th championship and 4th Finals MVP. But it seems like this debate...
That wouldn't change anything. Jordan stans are too delusional to even accept the smallest chance that LeBron is the GOAT. This is why this conversation exists. If y'all didn't have so much hate for LeBron, I wouldn't have to be here. I wouldn't be here because it would be generally accepted that everyone knows that LeBron is the GOAT. It's the same reason why you don't see Jordan fans on here explaining how much they think LeBron is not the GOAT as much as there are LeBron fans that think he is the GOAT. I've seen there's more videos of LeBron fans reacting to GOAT debates, GOAT breakdowns than there are Jordan fans. And the Jordan fans reacting to the GOAT debate is just them recycling what they already know and recycled information that they already hear. They think it's the GOAT. The video tells them they're the GOAT. They're happy. I'm reacting to people saying Jordan's the GOAT and I'm a LeBron fan. At least I'm not avoiding it. Like, there's a reason why there's more people that are LeBron fans and LeBron supporters or whatever that react to these type of things, because there's less of us in the world, but there's more of us that are willing to at least accept the idea of let's see what they have to say.
Isn't much of a debate at all. The experts had spoken, and the answer was clear as day. But I want to take a deeper look at these results. What if we removed the anonymity, peeled back the curtain, and saw how these players voted? Well, I searched. I scoured the internet for every opinion and take on the GOAT debate that I could find, specifically from NBA players. And along the way, I found some interesting things. Like this article from ESPN that says that Michael Jordan is better than LeBron in every way according to NBA fans. And by every way, they mean literally every way. Like which one of them has the better shoes?
Jordan has more shoes, bro. What? This has nothing. Okay.
Would they rather have a drink with?
I'd rather have a drink with. Okay, yeah. Who would they? Oh my gosh, they need to wipe their lips, bro. They need to wipe their lips. They have some stuff on it. Have a drink with, bro. It doesn't. Wait. First of all, why would they ask this question? Who would you rather have a drink with? It's solely based on preference. That's not based on who the GOAT is.
And who has the better look? Riveting, informative, petty even, but
the better look. Wait. The better look. And I was talking about they need to wipe their lip with that. They need to cleanse themselves. Who has a better look? Bro, I'm not answering that question. I'm not and they'll call us bronzexuals, but y'all over here saying Jordan looks good? Yeah, okay, boy.
No use
Nice
to
try.
us. I came across one video of Meta World Peace's take on the whole debate, and once you decipher his absolute dogshit handwriting, you'll see that he's got Oscar Robertson as his GOAT. He's also got Kobe and MJ taking up the same spot, not sure if that's how rankings work, and Kyrie Irving as the 4th best player.
Kyrie Irving over LeBron. Oh my god. Why does everybody... I think people don't like LeBron because he's the biggest threat, bro. There's no way. They think they're like, oh, this guy, he's actually good, so we're gonna try and demote him as much as possible. He's lower than Kyrie. Well, first of all, that's not even the worst part about this. Why is Oscar Robertson first? This whole list is a mess, bro.
In NBA history, I had no choice but to assume he was trolling, and so I moved on.
I hope so.
Jason Williams gave his take on who he thinks the GOAT is and was ridiculed because of it on national television. Remember, kids, even NBA players can't share their takes about the NBA without getting crucified. Now, it was hard to determine the true answer for some players since over the years, they've changed their mind. At one point, Isaiah Thomas said Jordan was the GOAT, and then he said it was LeBron, and then he said it was Kareem, and then he said it was LeBron again. Originally, Scottie Pippen said MJ was the GOAT. Then, years later, said it was LeBron. Then MJ, and then he said it was Wilt Chamberlain, and then he said it was LeBron again. Unfortunately, some players refuse to give an answer on the debate at all. Like Kareem Abdul...
If Scottie Pippen said it was LeBron twice, and Isaiah Thomas said it was LeBron twice, I mean, technically Isaiah Thomas said it 3 times? I don't even know. They need some consistency. Maybe it's their age, they're forgetting. I don't know. If I'm an NBA player and I played in the NBA, I would know who the GOAT is. I wouldn't have to change my answer 5-6 times, especially if I played with all those players.
Jabbar, who's been around since basketball was played with a peach basket and has somehow never outright said who he thinks is the greatest player of all time. But
Respect.
After a long search, I collected the answers from 112 different NBA players. And before I show the results, let's see what we're working with. Here are the 112 players that gave definitive answers on who they think the GOAT is.
Man said Quinn Cook. Okay.
Of these 112 players, 49 of them are currently in the NBA, and 64 of them are former players. If we break it down by decades, 4 of the players that gave their opinion on the GOAT played in the 60s, 2 of them are from the 70s, 6 played in the 80s, 21 played in the 90s, 28 played in the 2000s, 23 played in the 2010s, and 30 are a part of this next era of NBA players.
It's gonna be Jordan, but you know...
Now, of course, we're going to have some overlap in the timeline of players' careers, but for the sake of this experiment, this is how we're going to break it down. Don't like it? That's too bad. And before I reveal the results of this NBA survey, I want you all to make a prediction. In order, from 1 to 5, who do you think received the most GOAT votes among all players in this survey?
LeBron got... No. I'm tripping. Jordan got number 1. because, you know, the mainstream media and everyone else pushes the agenda that Jordan is better than LeBron. LeBron's second. If LeBron's not second, I'm highly disappointed. Wilt Chamberlain third. Kobe fourth. This isn't my list, by the way. This is a guess of what they said. And shoot, Larry Bird fifth. I would hope so. They had most of these people have not done their research on Larry Bird, so Larry Bird is probably not in the top 5 for them.
Pause it here if you need to. Got your prediction? Well, here are the results of all 112 NBA players and their GOAT pick. LeBron, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, LeBron. Jordan, Wilt, LeBron, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, Wilt, Jordan, Kobe, Jordan, Kareem, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, Wilt, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, Jordan, Wilt, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Kareem, LeBron.
So far, it seems like I'm correct. I'm hearing Jordan, LeBron, and Wilt. And then Kobe. Obviously, Larry Bird wasn't picked for 5th, but, you know, people and their opinions.
Jordan, Kareem, LeBron, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan,
Kareem's
Kobe,
5th.
Jordan, LeBron, Jordan. That's 3 votes for Kareem, 4 votes for Wilt, 6 votes for Kobe, 30 votes for LeBron. And with an overwhelming 69 votes, Michael Jordan is unquestionably the greatest player of all time, according to NBA players.
Aha! Joel Embiid thinks Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest player. Well, I mean, he's a center, so it makes sense. Wilt Chamberlain voted for himself? that I don't know if that counts. But LeBron also voted for himself too, so wait, LeBron voted for himself? I could have sworn. Actually, forget I said anything. LeBron voted for himself. Joel voted for Wilt Chamberlain. There's more votes for Kobe than for Wilt, so I was wrong there, but I had the list somewhat right. Just, you know, no Larry.
Now, if we compare these results to the anonymous player poll conducted by The Athletic back in 2019, the results are actually quite different. Michael Jordan still received the majority of the votes, but this time around, it isn't nearly as decisive as it was back in 2019.
It's growing. The LeBron is growing. This is what I'm saying. It's all based on eras. In like 20 years, it's going to look like majority Bron. I'm saying it now.
Keep in mind, the 2019 survey involved only active players, whereas our survey included the opinions of many retired players. But I think it would be accurate to say that over the last 3 seasons, LeBron has swayed more players into his corner with his title run in 2020 and his unprecedented longevity that now has him within reaching distance of Kareem's all-time scoring record. The only way LeBron even has a shot at being the GOAT in the eyes of most NBA players is through longevity, which has widely been agreed upon even by NBA fans over the last few years. But I want to point out some really interesting things that were revealed while gathering all these answers. Wilt Chamberlain and LeBron are the only players that chose themselves as the GOAT. In interviews over the years, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan have hinted at the fact that they find themselves to be the GOAT, but they've never outright said it. But even more revealing is that time and time again, NBA players, the guys that know the game better than anyone else, choose Kobe Bryant as a top 3 player and in some cases the GOAT. While most fans don't.
People think Kobe Bryant is better than Jordan. I wouldn't go that far. Y'all have seen me in my channel. I wouldn't go that far. If y'all want me to react to more Kobe, I've seen Kobe. I've watched Kobe. But if y'all want to see me react to those highlights, there might be some clips that I don't know about. I'll watch them. But Kobe better than Jordan? I think they're stretching.
Don't even have him in their top 5. In fact, a lot of the guys who picked Jordan as their GOAT, like Kawhi, Durant, Jimmy Butler, James Harden, Vince Carter, and dozens more, actually had Kobe at number 2 and not LeBron, which speaks volumes as to what these players value and how they define greatness. I personally think that fans of the NBA tend to factor in the totality of a player's career when considering where they rank all time, which only makes sense, whereas NBA players put more value in the actual ability and capability of all-time greats when ranking them. NBA players tend to see past narratives, situations, fortune, or misfortune, and rather assess these players based simply on how good they are at playing basketball. Now, I want to point something out. Most of the players that played against Jordan picked Jordan as their GOAT, but a lot of the players that played against LeBron also picked Jordan as their GOAT. In fact, if we look at the eras these players played in and how they voted, players across every decade chose Jordan as their GOAT.
Players across every era has also picked LeBron as the GOAT, including Scottie Pippen.
Whereas with LeBron, the vast majority of his votes came from players who may have simply been too young to watch Jordan play.
Ron Artest, Gilbert Arenas, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, Julius Erving. LeBron has 100% of the votes in 1970.
This isn't to say they chose LeBron by default due to their age, but it is something worth considering.
Yeah, but 1990s is also majority old people. So is that me saying, oh, they didn't play with LeBron, how would they know? No, I'm not going to say that. They're saying that because they played with him. The players in 2020 are not young enough to know what, or not young enough to not know what Jordan did, but they're young enough to play with LeBron and know how he played because they were on the same court as him. Same with the 1990s. Most of those players were on the court with Jordan, so they're going to say Jordan. And then the people in our era who picked Jordan, it's a mass majority, so obviously they're more inclined to say that Jordan is to be safe and not to be ridiculed on the internet and stuff like that. So,
but what about the guys that played against or with LeBron, Kobe, and Michael Jordan throughout the course of their careers? Well, this is where things get really interesting, because out of the 112 players who were surveyed, 27 of them played against LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan during their NBA career. And of those 27 players, one of them said Kobe was the GOAT, 4 of them said LeBron was the GOAT, and 22 of them said MJ was the GOAT. Just think about that for a moment. Among the guys that actually played against and guarded Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan, 80...
I've never seen Allen Iverson guard LeBron, but
1% of them say MJ was the greatest player. But we can take this even further. What about the guys that played with Michael Jordan and LeBron James? Well, among these 112 players, 27 of them were teammates of either LeBron or MJ. And of these 27 players, 20 of them agreed MJ was the GOAT, and only 6 said LeBron was the GOAT. And I think this might just be the most revealing aspect of this entire experiment. The fundamental difference between some of the best players of all time, like Kareem, LeBron, Wilt, Magic, versus Michael Jordan, is that players respected these all-time greats, but they feared MJ. They appreciate LeBron and Magic and Kobe, but they revere Michael Jordan. Among all the interviews and articles I sifted through to gather the information for this video, it seemed like every time a player talked about Michael Jordan, whether they played with him, against him, watched him, they were all in amazement. Just talking about his game, you could see their eyes light up, like they were talking about some mythical being or something. They're all NBA players. They've all reached the pinnacle of their sport, and yet none of them see Michael Jordan as their peer, but rather above them, like he's on a tier of his own, this untouchable, unattainable, immortal.
Wipe your lips, bro, when you're done, okay?
Immortal status. The man retired from the NBA decades ago, and yet it still remains Michael Jordan, and then everyone else. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, until next time.
These are NBA players' opinions. Who am I to say who I what they think? But that's what NBA players think. NBA players believe that Michael Jordan is better than Bron. The players who played with both of them, the majority say that Michael Jordan is better than Bron. But the majority of the people, hold on, let's go back to the list. Let's go back to that list. The majority
of them agreed.
The majority of the people who have played on the same court as LeBron and Jordan. Let's see. who either played with. Okay, so these players are only LeBron teammates and these players are only Jordan teammates. And most of them said Jordan was over LeBron. Oh, Okay, I can't refute this. This is the NBA players. This is their opinions. Great video by Jimmy High Roller, as always. Linked in the description for the original video. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for 1K. And we're continuing to go up. So, see you on the next video.
I'm just talking on this beat. Like it's just you and just me. We can say it's side of the beat.